You are now tuned in to DameSmiff.
Welcome to Musician Talks with DameSmiff. This is episode 39, and today I want to talk about variety in your music as an artist. And I want to tie that into what I talked about last episode in terms of diversifying your portfolio as an artist. But before I get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and share this video with anybody who's interested in the music industry, advancing their music career, developing new soft skills as an artist, or if you're just interested in seeing how artists think and work today in today's society. So, like I said, I want to talk about the variety or adding variety in your music. First, I want to address that many artists that I've spoken to, at least, they're not interested in one genre of music. Typically, the artists that I've grown up and played with, if we were playing jazz music, they also listen to hip hop, rock, some listen to country, some listen to ska, electric music, some even make the different music. And that's really what I want to get down to is that, let's say you're a violinist and you play for an orchestra. It would behoove you to try to find other ways you can utilize your musicianship in other genres, because the violin has a lot of versatility in it. Many instruments do, especially if you can find ways to break out of the instrument's cultural relevance. Some instruments are they're kind of grounded in their nationality and the culture that they were made for, but there's music is a very, very, very big, language around the world. So you can find a way to fit it anywhere. But I want artists to understand that the music that you're performing and playing and writing for today doesn't necessarily have to be what you're going to do tomorrow or years later. Like I'll put myself for an example. Like I love making jazz and hip hop and things like that, but I definitely see myself making a lot of background music for video games, electronic music. I want to get into scoring for films and things like that. So it's gonna be a bit of a learning curve trying to understand those genres and stepping into them and being efficient to where I can compete in those in those parts of the industry. So understanding that means that there's some work to be done. And for many artists, it's easy for us to get complacent and comfortable for where we are, especially if you're really good at what you do. Like there was a point where playing the piano for me was kind of like just something I could just turn on and do. But when you put yourself in an environment where it's competitive, you start to see that maybe your skills can be honed a little better. Maybe you can improve here and there. Maybe you can develop new skills that maybe that other person on stage doesn't really have a mastery of. So, for artists, I want this to be a conversation about what kind of genres do you see yourself working in, and what kind of genres are actually genres that you can benefit and thrive in. So for me being for playing piano, I can work with jazz, R&B, I can do a little bit of soul, I can do gospel. I've played in church. So then I can do children's music, I can perform Latin jazz, I can do electronic music such as EDM or dubstep, or maybe just some new age electronic music. There's lots of ways I can go just with this one instrument, but if I wanted to develop a mastery of it, I would have to understand the role that I play in that genre and the roles of the other instrumentalists in that genre in order to be able to produce music in that genre. Now, I'm speaking today specifically about different genres of music, but as an artist, you can tap into just the different jobs there are in the music industry. You can play rock and roll by day as a busker, but then by night be an audio engineer and mastering engineer, to where you can make a decent living between the two jobs, just that alone. But if you want to keep improving and keep adding to it, there's more and more things that you can jump into. So today's question is going to be what other genres, well, first, what genre do you perform the most, and what do you enjoy performing the most? And then the second question would be, what genres do you see yourself choosing to tap into? Or maybe what genres do you see you have an interest in. And going forward, many of the genres that artists tap into are very much the ones that they enjoy. So it's good to listen to new music, expose yourself to new music and cultures, and develop a relationship with people that are definitely doing well in those industries, or maybe just have a lot of experience in those industries so you can learn from them. Now, it's also important to think to get out of this mindset that you have to master in a genre in order to think you can step into another genre or whatever. It's really about your work ethic and your efficiency behind it. Like, I personally say I play jazz, but there are jazz musicians out there that would blow me out of the water in an instant, and it would be obvious. Like, if you were to put me on stage in front of a piano and you put me on stage next to a jazz piano player who's been playing since he was 7, could sight read music instantly and things like that, that musician is going to be a lot more beneficial to jazz music than I would. But where I would stand out and where I would have the competitive edge is my ability to adapt. Like, I'm not a master in jazz, therefore I'm I can develop other skills to where I can edge out the competition. So I would have engineering and production behind me, the music theory to where I can create new music versus having somebody next to me who can only play what you put in front of them. Um, yeah, and so things like that. So where I would lack in musical endurance and the dexterity, I make up for it in the creativity and the innovation. So there's a lot of ways you can approach this as an artist. Like, if on the other hand, you're super innovative and creative, you can develop a way to master the skills that you need to be creative. So if you're a producer and you make beats and things like that, or maybe you are a songwriter and you're not the best guitar player, mastering your formula for making songs or producing music, maybe you have the best way of understanding chord structure, lyric structure, maybe you have a great mastery in music theory and things like that. That can edge you out of the competition, ahead of the competition as far as being of benefit to whatever genre you choose to step into. So these are things I want artists to think about as far as especially the young musicians that come out, because most young musicians, they'll pick up an instrument, and if it's not of if it's not of interest, they'll put it down and either give up or just find a new instrument. But that doesn't mean that it's put down forever. Especially as you get older, you can just add to your Rolodex of skills. But it's very important to make sure you can be a master at something, be super, super, super efficient at something, to where you would be the only source, where everybody's coming to you for that one thing. So finding that balance is going to be very important for artists. But this was Musician Talks with DameSmiff. And like, share, and subscribe. I'll be here every single day on YouTube between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And share this video with everybody. I'm hoping to develop a new community here of musicians that are looking to talk more about the lifestyle and culture of artistry versus, what's the best processor and compressor, or which Fender guitar is better, and how do I play a G minor 7 chord on the bass. Like, I don't think we've gone past that conversation now. So I want to develop a community where we can talk openly about the the life of an artist and what it means to exist as an artist today. So that's all I have for you today. This is Musician Talks with DameSmiff, and I'm out.